So last week we covered the workhorse colors that most artists have in their palette, which is French ultramarine, cobalt blue, raw sienna, burnt sienna. Now, color theory is such a huge subject that I was having difficulty thinking about how to proceed to help you understand better color theory, color mixing, and about the different colors and what you can do with them. So what I decided was that each week I'm going to cover one color. This week we're going to do yellows. And these are just the colors that I use, by the way. I mean, there are many more great colors out there that other artists use. I like to paint dark and dramatic landscapes. These are the colors that I use for that, and that I use a lot. So I have here the colors, the yellows that I use, apart from raw sienna, which we already covered in the previous section. Indian yellow, new gamboge, and yellow ochre. Yellow ochre is one of those colors that is not a transparent color, but it's used a lot in landscapes. A lot of artists use it, and it makes a really lovely if you want dried wild grasses, things like that, yellow ochre is a good color to use. So I've included it here because I do use it occasionally. I don't use it as much as I use the Indian yellow and new gamboge, which are transparent colors. So I have prepared a very basic color wheel here to show you what these colors do when they're mixed with other colors. And I would advise you to create your own color wheels and keep them on cards for when you do paintings, and it helps you decide what colors you're going to use. So let's start off with Indian yellow. And I'm going to, for the blue, now we have the three primary colors are yellow, blue, and red. And those colors can be used to mix just about any color in a painting. So I'm going to put the blue, this is French ultramarine, so that's Indian yellow, French ultramarine. And then I'm going to use, for the red, I'm going to use cadmium red. Now cadmium red is not a transparent color, but it is a very useful color to mix with other colors, and for that reason it's used quite a lot in paintings. Now this cadmium red is not it doesn't actually have any cadmium in it. It's made by Daniel Smith, and they have come up with a color that mimics cadmium red, but it doesn't have the toxic cadmium element in it. Now we're going to mix these to make secondary colors, and so we have Indian yellow and French ultramarine, and if we did it about 50-50, you get a really nice green. See what a lovely green that makes? And then if we take the Indian yellow and the cadmium red, you get a lovely orange. You see why artists use this cadmium red. It's a really lovely color. Now you can see I've drawn circles here. In the color wheel, generally you have varying degrees of the yellow and green and blue mix, going with dark green, lighter, lighter, lighter. And you can do that for yourself. I just want to show you what the secondary colors are with these two colors mixed. Now, red mixed with blue makes purple, as we know. And I just want to put that color in here. And cadmium red and French ultramarine don't make the best purple. You can make a lovely purple with French ultramarine and alizarin crimson, but that's a cool red. And I was going to use a warm red on this side because these are the cool colors on this side. So that's how how the nice mixtures you can get with Indian yellow. So let's go to New Gamboge, which is a less intense yellow than Indian red. Slightly less. It's similar but slightly less intense. And we'll use cadmium red again. Let's just use that as our primary red. And don't forget, when you're mixing colors like this, you really want your brush to be clean. And we'll use French ultramarine as the blue again, because this is all about the yellows. And so we'll take some French ultramarine and take some New Gamboge and mix that with the French ultramarine for a green. It's similar, not quite the same as that. I just find that the New Gamboge I would use in my sunsets, where you want the glow as the sun is going down. I find the Indian yellow maybe just a little too intense for that. Although I think I have actually used it on occasion in a sunset. Now I'm going to mix some yellow with the cadmium red to get an orange. And you can see that's similar there. Now let's go to let's go to the interesting color of yellow ochre. Yellow ochre is, as I said, not a transparent color, although you can make it look transparent by mixing it with a lot of water. And for the red, I'm going to use burnt sienna, which is one of my favorite colors. Very useful in a landscape. You can do so much with that. And these are known as earth colors. So if you like to paint with earth colors, this is what you would do. And the blue, I'm going to use a color called Payne's Gray. And a lot of artists don't like Payne's Gray, but I find it useful for dulling down French ultramarine in the skies. And I'll mix it with sometimes with raw sienna to get an earthy green color. So let's mix that with some yellow ochre, and you'd have to put quite a lot of Payne's Gray is quite intense, so you'd have to put quite a lot of yellow ochre in it, and you get that sort of dull green, earthy green color. And then burnt sienna mixed with yellow ochre to get a more orangey color. Let's just see how that works. Yeah, it's not bad. Now that would be earth colors. I actually quite like that green. You'll see when it's dry, it's actually quite a pleasant green. These are just the 3 yellows that I use. So let's do a little painting demonstration. I'm going to wet the sky area. I'm just going to do a very basic sunset and take some New Gamboge and add a lot of water. Let's go up here. And I'm going to take my indigo that I told you about last week. We want this to come down, and I want to make it really dark here. I want to have that run down. I didn't probably make it wet enough, so I'm going to spray it with my spray bottle. Basically how I would use if I'm making a sunset. Now when that's dry, I would add some I'll take my rough brush. I would add some burnt sienna and French ultramarine to get a very dark land area. I just wanted to basically show you how you can use these colors, and this is how I would use New Gamboge. So what I really want the land area to be almost black, so I'm going to just normally I would wait for this to dry, but I'm doing this demonstration for you. And you could even take the blue further down so that we get much less of the setting yellow sun, which could actually make it look even more striking. So you can get some dramatic effects by doing that, and then when it's dry, I'll probably paint a little tree there and a simple landscape. I hope you enjoyed this second in the series on use of color, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next series when we'll cover the use of green. Thanks for watching.